1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez & Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez & Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez & Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo, a Tuesday edition of the program on ESPN 106.3, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo with you. Mike Rizzo and Damian Perez helping us out today. Christian Cat over in Augusta, Georgia for the Masters this week. So he's out of commission, but we got a 2-hour program up ahead. Should be a lot of fun, lot to talk about. Florida Gators, your national champions of 2025 on the college basketball side of things. The Mike Malones of the world and Taylor Jenkins. We talked about Taylor Jenkins getting fired from the Grizzlies about 10 days ago. And out goes Mike Malone for the Denver Nuggets over basically a 10-year career with Denver, getting that team in there. He is out alongside the GM of the Denver Nuggets. And this is 4 games before the postseason. This is a week and a half before we get things rolling here. Very bizarre. And it was the latest coaching change since the 1980-1981 season in the NBA. How about that?
Well, I got the blueprint to go on a run. You just fire your head coach.
That's what. That's the new wave.
Just fire your head coach.
Florida takes the win over Houston, 65-63, and basically a dogfight of a national championship game in which Houston led by as many about 12 points throughout and had their, I guess, paws all over it. A dogfight type game. It's exactly what Florida should have expected, and Florida was frazzled throughout that first half, and then they rolled back and ended up going a little bit back and forth to finish off that game, and they're your national champions. And that was a game that was ugly. It was scrappy. It was not that technically sound. It wasn't that skilled, but it was gritty, and that's what college basketball is. And if you're not a fan of the quality of play, Houston didn't even get a shot off to finish off the game. They had 4 turnovers in the last 5 possessions of the game. If you're not a fan of that, I understand. That's not pretty. But Houston, that's the story of the tournament. Houston was down against Duke, came back late in the game. Texas Tech, Florida was dead in the water against Texas Tech. They roll back and win. Maryland, a bit back and forth with Florida. They pull ahead. Losing to UConn, pull ahead and win. Purdue had Houston against the ropes. They edge it out. It's the end of the game, the closures of the game that has decided this tournament, and that's what you got to ask for. Now, Florida winning, that was an ugly, ugly, ugly game. It felt weird. That was a 1-point game. Didn't feel like a 1-point game. It felt like a dogfight. Every possession was so earned. That was my main takeaway when I was watching it.
Yeah, and I thought a style of play and game like that would have favored Houston. Houston is the team that we saw videos of diving for loose balls.
They were pleased with that game the whole way.
And I'm very surprised that they weren't able to pan it out. Now, I kind of called it a choke job by Houston for a number of reasons. I understand the theme of the tournament. I totally agree with you, Colin. The theme was the comeback wins. All of the teams, all the number 1 seeds that made the Final Four had to, come from behind it at some point, one way or the other, on their way to the Final Four. But I think with Houston specifically, when you look at their team and how they're constructed and the players that are on their team and the way Sampson coaches, that's a game they win. And Sampson said after the game that completely, just shell-shocked, unacceptable that they could not get a shot off at that moment. 2 things why I think it was a big choke job by Houston. Whenever you're up 13, 14 points, I think you got to kind of run away with it in a sense of you did enough. Like, I know there were 10 minutes left in the second half, but you got to find a way to win up 14-12. And I know Florida was a big mountain to climb. But at the same time, Houston and the way they play and the way Sampson coaches, that's a game you win. And it's just another, I think, chapter in history of Houston basketball where they're going to look back and just kick themselves. They did it, obviously, back in the 80s or the early 90s. Apologies. And now we're doing it now with Sampson 3 different times in the NCAA tournament. He won't be able to sleep for a long time at night, and that's a game I felt that the Houstons really choked away, that the Cougs rather choked away late in that game. And I can't believe Sharpton. Number one, I can't believe how bad Sharp played. 3 of 11, 1 for 7 from 3. But to basically get an up and down call, and obviously the call wasn't made because he didn't touch the ball and he started boxing out Florida defenders. You have to find a way to get a shot in the air there. You have to find a way to get the go-ahead three-pointer in a situation like that.
LJ Cryer's been their closer the whole tournament. It was a very strange game, but that's not Sampson's way. That's not Houston either. Houston did that against Duke. They had an excellent inbounds play to win the game against Purdue, but that is not a team, historically, under Sampson, in the last 12 years, that has been able to, with offensive heroics, save them in games. That was my theme with them coming in. They're better offensively than they usually are, but their defense is the highlight. Their toughness is the highlight. Their rebounding, their offensive rebounding specifically, is the highlight. That offensive, when they needed offensive heroics, and it wasn't like the Duke game where they had a couple crazy shots fall, they drew blanks. Turnovers, slipping the ball off the court, fouls. The tide completely flipped when it was Florida, we need to get a basket, which they'd done all tournament, and Houston, we need a basket. Yeah. And they weren't able to do it. The offensive heroics that is required of championship-level teams, they drew blanks. And that happens, but that is Houston through and through. It's a classic Houston game. Classic. Not the blowing lead, but their offense doesn't win them games. Their defense does.
No, and Florida has more quality, and that's why I go to the point of that's a game. If you're Houston, you couldn't scrap up a better game plan and how things went.
Yeah,
you got to find a way to
Clayton
win.
mostly had a bad game.
Right.
He had 0 points in the first half. He had 4 turnovers, a couple assists, 12 points in the second half, played much better. A couple big plays, timely shots here and there. But he mostly was out of the mix. So if you shut him down, and Elijah Martin wasn't playing that well either, FAU guy, and you had Will Richard and Alex Condon being the primary targets if you're Florida, I agree with you.
Yep.
That is a game plan that at least went to plan for the most part. And they blew that game towards the end of it. I mean, you know what? I won't say blew, but
it's unfair to Florida, right?
they had a 12. They were up 42-30. Yeah. They were up 42-30. And it was another run to get them back in the game, and it was basically neck and neck the rest of the way. And if you're going to go big basket for big basket with Florida, you're going to lose the game. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I agree with the being up double digits. Got to find a way to win in the national championship. You don't know the next time you're going to be there. You know how hard it is to go on these runs. Now, fair play to Houston. They've been able to get into the second weekend, Elite Eight and whatnot for the last couple of years. But this was the run. This was the year.
Yeah.
And to lose the way they did is truly gut-wrenching.
They lose a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
Kelvin Sampson is 69 years old. He was ran out of college basketball, back in the NBA, ended up taking over Houston, which was a bad program before he got there. And him with his son as the associate head coach, and I believe his daughter's involved with the program in some capacity as well. His son is the head coach in standing, Kellen Sampson. So they got his son is right there. And to build up that program over a 10, 12-year period, get them into the Big 12, and to make a national title run off of a bunch of 5th and 6th year guys that have been there, have done it, tough, gritty, probably no NBA players. And how many opportunities at 69 years of age, if you're Kelvin Sampson, are you going to get like that?
Right.
So you kind of feel for him in that capacity. But Florida was similar to how Duke was. Florida is the better team. I'm not sure if Florida played better in that game. They led for a minute. That's
why I said when you look at, choking in this tournament, you look at Duke and you look at Houston. And it's funny that Houston was the team that did it to Duke, who I thought was the best team in the field for the entire tournament. I mean, you look at the games, you look at the margin of victory. I thought Duke was that team of destiny. Houston beats them. And then Houston, 2 nights later, does the same thing that Duke did. Now, not to the Duke level, Colin.
Not to the Duke
level. And I said that. But to choke like that in that game when, as you mentioned, Florida led for 1 minute, and it was at the end of that game, you tip your cap to Florida because it was something they've been able to do all tournament. Now, leading for 1 minute is not something they did all tournament. It was nonetheless coming back with 5-6 minutes left and dominating the game after that. But you kind of thought late in that game that things were going to go Florida's way. At least I did, Colin. The way that game was going and feeling, I thought Florida was going to be the team that was going to pull it out.
That was Houston's game until the last minute. Until they started turning the ball over left and right, that last minute of the game, the last 4 possessions, or it might have been the last 5. 4 turnovers. 4 bad ones, too. Right when that happened, and Florida was able to kind of settle in a little bit, that was when the game really changed.
How much of a problem do you have with the last shot? And not getting the shot off and
if you're I agree. It's a terrible possession. Awful possession. Really. Awful.
I mean,
giving
it
to Sharp and not giving it to Cryer there.
And he came up from the paint, too. Like, they were doing nothing on the right side wing.
I don't have
he came up from the paint.
I don't have the problem with him getting the ball there. But if that's your shot,
yeah,
that's not an expertly level drawn up play, I should say. That is not that. And that is not Kelvin Sampson's game either. Now, he did it against Purdue on a great inbounds play, which is fair. But, I mean, that is not a team that is characterized by their offensive heroics. They did it against Iowa State earlier in the season. They had it against Purdue a little bit against Duke. But that is a team that is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, when defense is not playing that well, and it's, all right, now it's time for the offense to figure this out, and we're kind of running up and down with Florida a little bit, which we don't want, who are we going to turn to? And they turn to Emmanuel Sharp, and they doing the up and down and not being able to get a shot off. It looked bad. It was an ugly finish to a pretty great season for Houston.
Yeah, 19 seconds left too, Kyle. I thought a huge moment. Aberdeen misses a free throw, and Florida's able to get the ball. Immediately call timeout, and then he makes the free throw. You're down 2. You got to draw up a better shot there. You got to draw up a better shot at the end of that game. But you talk about it with Cal all the time. I want the same justice for Kelvin Sampson.
Right.
If we're going to sit here, if you're going to sit there and dog my guy Cal, I want the same stuff for Sampson.
Well,
today.
the thing is, that's not Sampson's thing. That's not it. He's a defensive coach. And the same guy who drew up an otherworldly inbounds play to beat Purdue about 3 games ago. So I got to give him some lax there, some leash. But, I mean, if I'm sitting there and watching that game, it just didn't roll your way. I mean, if you're that kid, Emmanuel Sharp, and you're pulling up for that shot and you're trying to hold the ball up there, a little conviction in your shot selection wouldn't hurt either. You know?
Right.
Knowing when you're going to take a shot wouldn't be bad. And good for Florida. I mean, that team was the best team in the tournament, in my opinion, at least in terms of the heroics, the big game players. Clayton didn't even play that well. They were deep. They had a lot of size. They've maybe 2-3 NBA guards with Elijah Martin sitting there too. Had a lot of good games throughout the tournament. That's a good team. It's a very good team. And Houston lost to a very good team. That was it. And it was weird because that was Houston's game through and through, similar to how that was Duke's game through and through in the Final Four.
Their bigs are all sophomores too, Kyle. Going to be back. Florida, they might, pending Golden, and I don't see why Golden would leave Florida after winning a national championship.
They're going to lose all those 3 guards. I mean, I don't know. I got to see.
You still think that they're going to be a high-level team, though. I mean, with their bigs coming back, then those bigs do a lot more than just, rebound. So
good players, but they're losing their 3 best players. That's the problem.
Clayton, Richard, Martin.
Yeah. So they're going to lose all those 3 players. But, I mean, if I'm sitting there, that was as ugly of a college basketball game as you could find. And I think I was at a certain point in that game, 4 or 5 minutes into it, where you sort of realize this is the type of game it's going to be, and you kind of just got to embrace it. If you're going to sit there and dissect the level of basketball play that we're watching and whether it's quality, that's not what this is about. Mm-hmm. I'm not at that point. It's not. It's ugly, but it's pesky. It's physical. Now, the refs got entirely too involved in that second half. They were terrible in that second half of that game. But, I mean, that's a game where you sort of just, kind of buckle up for the ride.
Yeah. And a lot of times these games, Colin, these big games, there's nerves. You're shooting a ball in front of, 50,000 fans. The stadiums are bigger. I understand San Antonio, nonetheless, Colin, not really like that. But I think usually the nerves of the game gets to them. And you get these low-scoring affairs. The under. Christian hit the under last night in our Let's Go streaking. It was 140. And I think that was the bet of the night, was the under in that game, just because of the way Houston plays and how you knew that it was kind of going to be a gritty-ish style of game. And my big takeaway from the game, folks, is that's a game Houston couldn't script up better. They were leading the whole game. It was nitty and gritty. You were fighting tooth and nail for every loose ball. That's the game Houston wanted. That's the game they got, and they still couldn't find a way to win.
Yeah. They kind of got away. The second Clayton got going a little bit, and a couple big timely shots to get back into the game, and then you start turning the ball over. It's like the pace flipped. Florida was turning the ball over left and right throughout that first half, and then all of a sudden, the last minute of the game, Houston's doing the exact same thing. It was pretty ugly. It was almost embarrassing.
Right.
Get a shot up, something. Jeez. And that turnover with Sharp off his knee with about 40 seconds to go. Oh, my God. Guys.
Then you start playing free throw game.
Guys. Let's lock in a little bit, no? I don't know. Do you like a game like that? Super gritty?
I'd rather see that than 130 to 120.
You're not gonna. I mean, you're never going to.
You know what I'm
saying.
You know what I'm saying. I'd rather see a gritty game like that in the championship, and you were living and dying with every possession at the end of that game. That I like that.
I agree with that.
I like you were living and dying with every possession at the end of that game.
That's what college basketball is.
Right.
That's the difference between that and the NBA.
Well, they're scripted. In the NBA, I feel like it's just so ISO and such I'm better than you, so we're gonna win. Like in college, there has to be a tacticalness to it. And I thought, with Sampson and the way he coaches, that was their game.
Teams have identities.
Yeah, and that game was the identity of Houston all year long. But fair play to Golden and the Gators. And Kyle, you mentioned Richard, Clayton, and Martin. I mean, that's the reason they won the game. Those guys have played so many college games. They've been in so many big moments. And like you said, Clayton didn't even have that good of a game. 3 of 10. Guy went 1 of 7 from 3. If I'm going to sit here and be on Emmanuel Sharp, I got to do the same thing for Clayton. But the fact of the matter
points
is,
in the second half, but yes.
Yeah, he made the plays late in the game. And I go back to his experience playing college basketball.
Damien Perez, our producer for today's program, Behind the Glass at the City Place Studios. You're our Florida fan of the bunch, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So how'd you feel throughout that game? What was your temperature check?
Man.
Beginning, halfway through, and then towards the end?
I thought the way the game started, it was kind of what was expected in a sense that it was going to be gritty. It was going to be a grinded-out game.
Clayton couldn't even get a look.
I kind of felt like UF kind of tried very hard to play as physical as Houston did. And then as the fouls in the second half where UF kind of found themselves, they found the rhythm, they found that rhythm that they played, they started getting Houston into foul trouble, which I thought was huge. Now you kind of notice the tide shifting. But, I mean, as a Florida fan, someone who was rooting for them, it was very stressful to watch because this whole tournament run, we've kind of depended on the brilliance of Walter Clayton Jr.
in the second half.
And he, like you guys mentioned, only 3 field goals made. And if I'm not mistaken, they were all made within, like, the last 2 minutes of the game.
About, 4 or 5 minutes.
So, I mean, if we really analyze it, Houston did everything to win this game. If you start naming off all the things Houston did, and you don't tell me the score, I'll tell you Houston won that game.
And both teams shot under 40%.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. It really was. What, were we expecting something different with Houston? That's an old school team. That was an old school basketball game. That's what that was. Mm-hmm. That was a late 80s college basketball final.
Can't hit the red side of a barn on a shot, and every possession means something in the final 2 minutes.
I feel like everyone talks about Houston's toughness, but nobody's mentioning the toughness that UF not only showed in that national championship game, but leading up to it. Mm-hmm. Down by 10 to Texas A&M.
Poise.
Down by 9 to Auburn. They beat the 2-time defending champ in UConn. Then they beat the 2 number 1 seeds. So it's UF. This run that UF made, I mean, everybody's talking about the collapse that Houston had in that national championship game, but I mean, the games that UF played leading up to it and the national championship, I mean, we really got to look at it and think, wow, this UF team was tougher than maybe a lot of people thought.
It's a great point. If you're thinking about the actual path to get there, they had to deal with the 2-time defending champions, UConn, who would have...
They were down in that game, too.
They were down to the last 2 minutes. They would have beaten a lot of teams in that tournament. And then you think about it, go right into Maryland, and Maryland was a good team, not a great team, but a team that was top 3 in the Big Ten.
They were playing with house money.
Yeah, absolutely. And they played iffy that game, and they were still able to churn it out. And then you got the Texas Tech game and everything like that, and then the Auburn game. I mean, unbelievable. A lot of big-time wins for them. You
called them a team of destiny. That turns out they were, and I kind of started getting behind that, Colin, after the UConn game. That was the pick that I had on my bracket to kind of differentiate myself from everybody. Everybody took Florida.
You were a Duke guy, right?
I had Duke winning the whole thing, but I also had UConn beating Florida. Right. And I know what I mean. Let's be honest, guys. I'd say probably close to 30%, 35% of the brackets on whatever website you turn in a bracket. I probably had Florida at least going to the title game. So that was my game to separate myself. And once they won that game and the way that they won that game, I said, all right, Florida's probably a lock to at least get to the national championship game at this point.
You think that the basketball program accomplishing this puts a little pressure on the football program to succeed this year?
I do.
Yeah.
How can't it? I mean, especially with bringing back Billy Napier. You brought back Billy Napier because you didn't want to lose guys in the transfer portal. Napier had a lot of talent there. He had a lot of recruits coming in from the year that he was there. But granted, if you don't have success this year with DJ Lagway and a lot of talent around there are going to be some serious questions. But I think the days of Florida recycling through head football coaches, Damian, I think they learned their lesson. You got to stick with the guy for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, coming into last season, and the favorite to lose his job first was Billy Napier. So to that point, I think, like you mentioned, bringing him back kind of brings that added pressure to the team where what are you going to do now that we brought you back?
Colin, I think the Florida football team understands, too, and the program and the whole athletic director, I think they all understand that Georgia, they're without Carson Beck this year. They looked vulnerable without Beck in that playoff. Alabama, they didn't even make the college football playoff this year.
These are different teams. They're different teams.
They're different teams, but the SEC, I'm saying there's no Nick Saban juggernaut in the SEC. There's no, and listen, Georgia could certainly bounce back and win the whole darn thing next year. I understand this, but I think they're going, all right, let's run it back again. You saw teams within the SEC that weren't the household names of the past do well in the playoff and whatnot. So let's go with it. You had Tennessee. Why can't Florida beat Tennessee next year? I know Tennessee got smoked by my Buckeyes, and
they got their quarterback returning.
But certainly Florida could turn into a team that it's like Tennessee next year that could sneak into the college football playoff and maybe make some.
I think baby steps, I understand. Baby steps, but I agree. That basketball game is indicative of, we're going to look ahead a little bit. Big celebratory on the basketball side. It's a very underrated college basketball program. But now, all eyes, that's a football school. That is not a basketball school. That is a football school. All eyes now point to that football team matching some momentum that rivals what the basketball team did.
And they did at the end of the year. Let's be fair to them. They won their bowl game. They kept Ole Miss out of the college football playoff. They
played Georgia tough.
Right. So maybe the football team carried the momentum for the basketball team. I understand that's
the basketball
not the case.
team lost 4 games all year.
You know what I'm saying, though. There was momentum with that football program before basketball even kicked off. So I think it was the right move to bring back Napier because, quite frankly, who the hell were you going to get? If you got rid of Billy Napier, who the hell were you going to get?
They probably would have gotten somebody good.
Who?
If Florida? Top 7 job in college football?
But who? That's fine. Listen, you do the same thing for me with Ohio State when I was over
fair.
Ryan Day.
That's fair.
So.
I'm just saying it's not impossible. I don't think it would be impossible for Florida to find an alternative figure to lead that team.
They haven't been able to do it for, 15 years, though, since Urban Meyer.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, it's been 3 coaches, but I understand. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You have to reflush, but I'm saying it's not impossible. But now the pressure is on that football team. Basketball, that is a football school. Basketball team wins a title, all eyes on the gridiron. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Perez with you. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
The school district of Palm Beach County is your best choice.
It's time to step into kindergarten. Parents, the School District of Palm Beach County is now enrolling kindergarten students for the upcoming school year. Register now at palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten. Find out when to attend your school's kindergarten kickoff and how to get your free kindergarten readiness kit. That's palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
HR and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
You've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are the type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve in these cases. Why settle for just any attorney? Get the best in the business today. Demand Anajar and Levine now, because all it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-3733. That's 1-800-747-FREE. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez with us as well behind the glass at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach on Russo and Rizzo up until 6 p.m. Christian Cat up in Augusta, Georgia for the Masters. I wonder how the weather is up there. It's not great in South Florida.
By the way, he missed his 1-year show anniversary.
Well, it's Augusta.
It was theoretically speaking, which is right before this 2 to 4 weekdays with Theo Dorsey and Christian Cat. And Christian wasn't there.
It's Augusta, guys.
It's the practice round.
Listen, I'm gonna come to see Cat's defense. He's a huge.
I can't bash him for that.
He's a huge golf fan. This is the cathedral of golf, Damian. This is like Augusta, Georgia is a sacred place, holy place.
Yeah, we looked at tickets for Thursday and Friday, $1,200.
Yeah,
What do you think they were for today?
No idea.
Couple hundred? I don't know. I mean, you also got to win the lottery.
Right. It's a whole process.
That's even if you get into
Dame, you're a big soccer guy, football guy like myself. That's like going to the Barcelona, the camp,
Champions League.
Yeah, that's like doing that. You got to understand. Now, the 1-year anniversary thing's great. I'm not trying to poo-poo that. Theo does a great job on the show, but he understood too, right? Didn't he understand, or was he?
They bashed him a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Tina?
Nothing too crazy.
Christina Costanza in the happy hour, they were bashing him?
No, she didn't really go.
Okay.
It wasn't anything too crazy.
It's funny. Theo, the same guy who had a wedding basically the night of the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, we didn't ask his opinion on that.
Missed the entire next week of work post Super Bowl. That same guy, right.
Well, you have a problem with this Chief fandom in the first place.
And the Chiefs were playing in that game. How about that? In other news, in the NBA side of things, a big shocker earlier today. We talked about Taylor Jenkins getting fired from the Memphis Grizzlies with 9 games to go in the season. And the Grizzlies have been reeling. They've been reeling ever since. But let me raise you one. And Taylor Jenkins was the 4th coach that was the longest tenured in the NBA, or the 5th longest coach that was tenured at the time, behind Mike Malone, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, and Spoelstra. Well, Denver said, hey, I'll raise you. Sitting in the 4th seed in the Western Conference at 47-32. They fire head coach Mike Malone, and they fire their GM. They clean house. The Denver Nuggets, the team that was probably in the top 3 favorites coming into the season, won a title in 2023 with 3 games to go. They fired their coach. With 3 games to go, they got the Kings, the Grizzlies, and the Rockets to finish off. And they did a spring cleaning.
It's a disgrace. That's where I'm at with this. It's a disgrace.
It was the GM as well.
What is this league turn? Yeah, what is this league turned into? And, Memphis, I guess we can make a case that Memphis and Denver, different levels. The Denver thing is probably worse, hence why Colin astutely pointed out, hey, let me one-up you. I mean, it is clearly a wide-open Western Conference this year. You want to know, you know what, boys? I got the blueprint. I know exactly what you got to do to go on a run in the Western Conference this year. You fire your head coach. Dude, everyone's keeping their head coach. J.J. Redick, those suckers, those Lakers are suckers. Hanging on to J.J. Redick. Watch, we're going to fire our head coach that brought us our first ever championship in Denver and led us to a 47-32 record this year in a wide open Western Conference. Makes absolutely no sense. And that's why a lot of people can't take this league seriously, Colin. I had to say it too. The league has been down this year. People have been complaining left and right.
This has nothing to do with people taking the league not seriously.
No, I can't. Colin, I can't take a team serious firing their head coach at 47-32. The coach that brought him a championship and has really been, and listen, clearly he's not the glue, but from the outside looking in was the glue holding things together with the Denver team. I can't take the league serious with a team firing their head coach at 47-32 and a top 3 favorite to come out of the Western Conference. It's a disgrace.
6-9 in their last 15 and 9-11 in their last 20. And I guess it was from ownership down. And I'll tell you one thing, too. They don't make those moves without Jokic's approval. So you don't think Jokic is not involved there because Jokic doesn't care? They ask Jokic.
And there's
Calvin Booth, the GM, gone. And he was the major problem, too. They couldn't build a roster to save their life. They were wasting Jokic's prime. But Mike Malone is the guy who put that team together. And now it's being reported that the GM and the coach, Mike Malone and Calvin Booth, rarely spoke. They hated each other. And you're going to get rid of both? Get rid of one of them. Get rid of the GM. I agree. Bad move. I don't understand this. What shot in the arm is this going to supply the team? Mike Malone. You know who's going to call him? San Antonio.
Right.
Take over for Popovich.
Came from there.
Watch them. Be the first one to call. That was the 4th longest tenured head coach. 10 years. Behind Spoelstra, Popovich, and Kerr. He was ahead of Kerr. But now you're getting rid of him? Now there's only 3 coaches in the NBA that have a tenure longer than 5 years. Thibodeau will get for 5 years in July. The rest, Spo, Kerr, and Popovich. That is a testament to what the NBA team thinks about their coach.
Right. And we see it in a lot of leagues, like especially even go back to the soccer thing again. Damian, their coaches are always in flux with soccer.
It's the same way in the NBA.
Yeah, it's starting to, and that's my point. It's starting to turn into that. Like long gone.
It's always been like that. Dwayne Casey got fired after winning Coach of the Year. Nick Nurse got fired after winning a championship with the Raptors. I mean, it's a cutthroat business. These guys get kicked out. It's amazing. Carlisle, see ya. Like
this is a new one though for me. This is.
Had to be a case of where he just flat out lost the locker room.
He put that team together. It was 10 years.
Right. And
they were 47-32.
There was a video of the Joker really animated on the bench about 2-3 days ago in one of their matchups. And, you know, to Colin's point, of course they're going to talk to Jokic. This isn't the Dallas Mavericks where they just trade their superstar on a whim and don't tell anybody. You know, of course they're going to talk to Jokic and get his opinion on this. But, like, I go back to the guy won a championship, built the roster with this Calvin Booth, even though they weren't speaking. Very odd. Very odd. And you know, Kyle, I know you disagree with me, but I cannot see how this isn't a bad look for the league.
You can't think about it. You can't think every turn of the way it's a bad look for the NBA. I tell you what this is.
Fair enough.
This is a reflection of how the NBA team views a coach. And it raises the question because if you're a head coach in the NBA and there's only 3 of them that have lasted more than 5 years, 3 of them total right now. There's only 3 coaches that have lasted over 5 years, and the rest gone. It's all about not what you do with the franchise and how good you are with the franchise. It's your relationship with the player. It's not the quality of the coach. It's the relationship with the best player. That's what that is. Ja Morant probably didn't like Taylor Jenkins. See ya. Goodbye.
Giannis probably didn't like
didn't like Adrian Griffin. See ya. Goodbye.
LeBron didn't like David Blatt in 2016.
Goodbye. This is a testament to how the NBA views its coaches. Now, there's exceptions. Kerr, he's almost an outlier. He's been there the entirety of Steph Curry, so he's had his ups because of Steph Curry and Draymond Green being there. But Popovich, who's had his lows, had his highs, but he's sticking around because it's Greg Popovich. And then Spoelstra, right here in Miami. Spoelstra is the other outlier. They could have bad years, and he could get away with it because they know how good he is.
He even survived LeBron.
He could survive it.
It's a good point.
And it almost raises the question, is it better off to be a part of a team that has a coach like that, or do you retool? Do you try to get somebody new in there?
I think
that's the question. We'll answer it after the flip side. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies. Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
So if we're going to think about this, if you're going to go year by year, you had the Denver Nuggets win a championship 2 years ago. Mike Malone fired as head coach. Steve Kerr still hanging around. Mike Budenholzer won it with Milwaukee in 2021. They won they were the top seed in the East, lost to Miami in the first round. See ya. Goodbye.
Gone.
Goodbye, Budenholzer. That was the Laker team who won it in the bubble. That was a Frank Vogel team, I believe. They've had 3 coaches since.
Right, and I think Vogel got fired from the Suns since then as well.
Did. So, and Budenholzer's out too. Nick Nurse, goodbye. Within 2 or 3 years, and they lost Kawhi in the process as well.
Right.
After winning a title.
I think has he been fired from Philly yet?
Yeah. Ty Lue, see ya. None of these guys hang around.
No.
None of these guys hang around. So I think that's a testament to the feel around the coach in the NBA. The head coach is not as important as the best player. The best player is the most important facet of a team. And whether Jokic and Malone had a good relationship or a bad one doesn't matter. The Nuggets were close to probably making a decision between how they're going to handle the coach and how they were going to handle a disgruntled superstar if he ever came to that point. And they made their decision. See ya. And some were terrible. That Budenholzer fire, terrible. Bucks did it again with Adrian Griffin. Probably shouldn't have done it.
Now they got Doc Rivers.
I think at a certain point, outside of 3, outside Cavs, get rid of Bickerstaff. Outside of three. Outside of Kerr, Spo, and Popovich. No other coach is safe. That's it. No other coach is safe. Thought Taylor Jenkins, finally winning a playoff series with Denver or with Memphis, the whole thing. You got Mike Malone bringing the first championship in Denver Nuggets history. It was funny. The owner said, we have a championship standard we're trying to uphold. Well, I'll tell you who brought the championship standard. It was Mike Malone.
Yep.
Mike Malone was the sole reason who did it.
And I called them the glue that held it together. And the moment that things go sour, and maybe this has been a long time coming, maybe this was something that we weren't seeing during the playoff run last year when they lost to the Timberwolves. And then maybe, we're not in the dressing room. We're not in the locker room. And, maybe Jokic and company just didn't respect the guy anymore, to Damian's point.
How do you not respect the guy after 10 years?
And
the guy gave Jokic a shot.
And he built it. Like you said, he built it. Him, Jokic, and Jamal Murray really built that special. Now, we can blame the GM. And
That's what I think the problem is. The problem lies with him.
You can blame Calvin Booth. And, I hate to blame Calvin Booth. I went to his basketball camps growing up in Northeast Ohio. Real good dude. But, to Colin's point, never really found the pieces to click with that team. It was supposed to be Michael Porter. I think Porter's a fine player, but outside of that run, you haven't really seen these guys step up.
I believe it's also a timing thing because, like Colin mentioned, there's 3 games left before the playoffs. You figure if it's something, a system issue, you can hold off until after the playoffs.
Dane, that's why I joked around and said, hey, guys, I got the blueprint to win an NBA championship. Fire your longtime head coach. It's a guarantee you'll go on a run. I don't know. It makes no sense to me at this point of the season. Think, Kyle, I apologize. You think you could just let's see where this thing takes us. We got 3 games, however, are left before the playoffs. God forbid you just stick it out this year and you treat the head coach who brought you a championship with some respect. This is disrespectful,
But that's why I think it's a locker room issue.
This is beyond, Colin, in my opinion, this is beyond disrespectful.
You don't get rid of the GM, too, if it's a locker room issue.
But you also can't have that energy if you're trying to make a playoff run.
What do you think the energy in the locker room is now? What do you think? What do you
think they're throwing a party?
The team that's 47-32. Do you think they're relieved?
But they've lost like the last
4 games. They're 9-11 in their last 20.
So I just think they're not responding.
And 6-9 in their last 15. Yeah, they're reeling. I agree with the idea that if this is a bad time for the Nuggets have not played well. That T-Wolves OT loss, a week ago, where they lost in double OT and Jokic had the 61-10-10. They, in a lot of ways, haven't recovered from that yet.
Right.
But now you got 3 games remaining in the season, and it's 3 must-win games. You're in the mix. There are 6 teams within a game and a half in that Western Conference. 2 of them would fall in the play-in. Minnesota, Memphis, Golden State, the Clippers, Denver, and the Lakers. All within a game and a half. And Denver has a half-game lead on the bottom 4 of those. So Denver has to win these last. They got to avoid the play-in.
They do. And Clippers are hot. Don't sleep on Golden State. The Timberwolves and Ant. They got legs for days. That's a young roster, maybe excluding Rudy Gobert.
What shot in the arm does he expect his team to get from this?
I don't know, bud. I don't know. That's why I call it unacceptable. And maybe I took it too far, saying it's embarrassing for the league. Maybe I took it a bit too far there.
Coach. I think it's just a matter.
I just think the timing. To defend myself a bit.
The timing is a joke.
To defend myself a bit, how this is another bad look for the league this year is the timing. And with all due respect to Taylor Jenkins, I know he was a long tenured coach and a pretty good basketball coach. This isn't a coach that brought the Timberwolves their first championship. Like Mike Malone has accolades. He's respected in NBA circles. This is just beyond bizarre. This is beyond bizarre. And quite frankly, I'll say it again, very embarrassing for Mike Malone, this move. How do you think he feels? Right.
I don't think he feels
How do you
good.
think that guy feels right now? Okay? I gave my heart and soul to this organization. I brought him their first championship. I brought him to relevancy. Even with Carmelo Anthony, this team wasn't relevant because what the Lakers were doing with Kobe Bryant. They were relevant for the last couple of years, and you just completely get rid of that and the culture that this guy brought. It's embarrassing.
I would understand this if it was in the offseason. The timing of it is the peculiar part. If you didn't like the direction it was going and you didn't see Mike Malone as a 25-year head coach staying there, or Phil Jackson type, I mean, this has happened. Bill Fitch, the Celtics got rid of him after winning a title a year prior, in the early 80s. Bill Sharman, get rid of him. Bringing in Pat Riley.
Don't worry, Kyle. You want to know what they're going to do? They're going to bring in Nick Nurse. Let's go down the list of the guys who got fired because it's just musical chairs. Is Monty Williams going to come out of wherever he's been since being fired from the Pistons? Who are the usual suspects that we're going to see
Mike
on
Brown
the list?
is out there.
Mike Brown. Oh, I've seen enough of Mike Brown for a lifetime being a Cleveland fan. But you know that it's true. They're going to get rid of Mike Malone, the guy who built everything there, and bring in Nick Nurse or I keep on wanting to call him Vogel, right? I mean, a joke. A joke.
This has been a testament in the NBA for a long time. Bulls got rid of Doug Collins right before they hired Phil Jackson. They got rid of Doug Collins.
Not before a playoff run.
So, and those teams were solid. Those teams were in the postseason. They ran to the 86 Celtics. What, are you going to fault them for that? Top 5 NBA team of all time.
Well, not to get too into it, Collins would just have Michael score 50 a game, and that was the offense. Phil came in there and brought in some order, but I understand the point.
They didn't have Pippen. They ran into a Pistons team, which was 2 plays away from 4 straight championships. First team in NBA history with them in the Celtics to get a chartered plane, too.
Yeah, but I understand. But nonetheless, Collins just let Michael shoot 60 times a game. But
fine.
I get it.
But point being.
And it wasn't before a playoff run. That's my biggest thing with this. Right before a playoff run.
I agree with it. This doesn't happen in other sports. 3 games before the postseason, trying to get a shot in the arm here. I don't understand what the thought process is, how this is going to reinvigorate the team. Get rid of the GM, that's one thing. That's an off-season problem. All right, fine. But if you're looking for some sort of jolt to get rid of The Rock, I mean, maybe it'll work, but to think that there's going to be any sense of unity, unless they were begging for that guy to get out of there. Maybe we'll hear more in the next couple days. Maybe they're begging that guy to get out of there, Mike Malone. But if that's not the case, they're going to be in complete disarray for the postseason. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a 4-5 matchup against a pretty good team. That's not going to be an easy series to win.
Yeah, and it could be Golden State. It could be the Clippers. It could be the Timber. I love the point you threw out of Minnesota, Golden State, and the Clippers, all a half game behind the Denver Nuggets for that 4th spot.
And the Lakers are right there.
48 and 30, the Lakers in the 3rd spot.
They're all within a game and a half.
Unbelievable.
So off of that, this is an important 3-game stretch. You're going to get rid of your head coach.
No one wants to play in that play-in tournament, by the way. Oh, my God.
That's the idea. That's why the NBA season is just getting interesting. You thought the Memphis Grizzlies, we bashed them for getting rid of Taylor Jenkins. I don't care how bad he was. 9 games left? It's the same thing.
Worse.
We're 79 games into the season. 79 games.
That's also a team that's up there in the standings for the Western Conference.
What Memphis, don't even get me 2-2 and I win my over, by the way. I have them 47.5.
Kyle, where was Memphis in the Western Conference standings when they fired Jenkins? Because they're 8th right now. And
they've fallen about 2 or 3 spots.
Okay, so they were 5.
They were in the 5. Right,
and I just got done telling everybody, hey, they all have the same record. But regardless, Memphis is probably reeling a bit. I lost my over-under, Damian, with the Clippers. They shattered it, sadly.
Now, is it almost better to have a franchise like that that's not afraid to retool, that's not afraid to get rid of a coach? Butch Vandegrift, the Lakers got rid of him on a 68-win team.
Kyle, there's a time to retool, though. And
totally. But there's also teams that you said the Miami Heat are in purgatory.
They are.
Who do you think's a component of that?
Pat Riley.
It's their lack
is it
of
Pat Riley. Is it Spoelstra?
It's their. You
can't say Riley
without
Spoelstra.
You're gonna blow that thing up. I understand the point. I like the whole retool thing. I'm gonna give you. You don't retool the plane when it's in the air. You retool it when it lands. We're on takeoff. We're just getting in the air with the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs right now. There's a time to retool.
I agree.
It wasn't right
but
now.
But it's a testament to a couple things. Number one, the NBA head coach is by far the least important in the major sports. By far the least important. Manager, NFL head coach, hockey, NHL head coach, forget it. The NBA, they don't care about these guys.
It's a players' league too.
It's more about not your quality as a coach, but your relationship with the best player on the team. And the Heat are an outlier because they valued the head coach comparatively to the player when Jimmy Butler and Riley were butting heads. Whether you want to put any stock in LeBron and Pat Riley butting heads. So that's a team over player. There's only a handful of those. And I wonder if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Put all the stock in the players. There it is. Bad relationship with the ownership and the best player, Luka. See ya. Goodbye. Wow. Unbelievable. But it's a testament to the two spectrums of the NBA. Pro team, pro coach, and there's only 3 or 4 of them. And then pro player.
I'm pro player because it's a pro player league, Kyle.
That's
There
why
is
not a chance that this move was made without Jokic knowing. They asked him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They totally asked him.
They had to. And from what I saw, the groaning and moaning on the bench that Jokic was doing the last couple of days,
I can't put a ton of stock into, him being upset that the team is losing games.
Body language is a big thing, though, Kyle.
Totally, sure, but
he's also never had the best body language.
That's not body language. Jokic is
but if
unhappy all 48 minutes of the game.
But getting animated and kind of screaming on the bench, it's uncharacteristic for the Joker.
I understand. Fine. But taking sides at Game 79, I do not understand what Denver is doing. You are digging a grave. You are wasting. And I understand this move in the offseason. There's only so many prime-year Jokic playoff runs you're going to have. There's only so many. You've already gotten through 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them. How many do you think you're really going to get out of this? 4 or 5 more? That's if Jokic ages well? There's a time and a place. You have a playoff run here in a relatively open and competitive Western Conference that Denver can come out of. And you're going to fire the coach Game 79.
Makes no sense.
A questionable head-scratching move. If you're the Denver Nuggets and Mike Malone being fired last second there, Game 79, they get 3 games remaining in a very tight Western Conference race in the thick of it to get in and out of the play-in. Denver behind the 8 ball a little bit now, hoping to get a jolt, a shot in the arm. Championship standards, as the owner said. Well, the guy who had the championship standard just walked out the door. We got to do a little 5 at 5. Loop Damien into the conversation. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you on ESPN 106.3.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you. Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs. Time to start getting your ride ready for summer. Stop by the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs and try out one of our best wash packages, the Ultimate Plus. It gives you everything your car needs, inside and out, including our ceramic graphene coating. Or try one of our unlimited monthly plans, starting as low as $34.95 a month, or with inside and out plus tire shine starting as low as $49.95 a month. Visit any one of our 6 convenient locations or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Mansor's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Mansor's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. What's going on? Our show ended hours ago. I'm supposed to be home by now. People are expecting me. Let me out of here. Hey!
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
ESPN 1063 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 1063. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida the wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Damian Perez helping us out behind the glass at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Second hour here on ESPN 1063. Also streaming live at ESPN West Palm on Facebook, Twitter/X, and YouTube. Damian, how you doing today?
Great.
Feeling good with the championship?
Feeling good. It's a great day.
Yeah, Florida fan of the bunch.
Absolutely.
Let's have a little fun here. First, I got to tell you, because the national championship was last night. And you got the NBA, which is bet against the Denver Nuggets for the next 3 games. 2 road games. Keep that in mind. No better time, really, to get started than download the Hard Rock Bet app today on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today. Because Hard Rock, it caters to both different types of players. If you're the brand new player like me a couple months ago, and you're looking to see how to get started, where to go, how to really acclimate, how to utilize the app, how to use a sports book. If it's your first time ever, well, it's good. It's catered to a player like you because it's easy, it's accessible. You could understand it easily. If you're not sure how to put together a parlay, check out the Discover page. You could tag along, just a few short taps. That's how easy it is. Or if you're the experienced player on the flip side of things, you could utilize the games, the profit boosts that Hard Rock Bet has very frequently. They have Battle of the Bets going on during the NCAA tournament. They go to the Overs-Unders Club. You can check that all out on the app today. Go get started now. You get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay, a prop, the over, whatever you like to bet in the game you choose. Win that first one and get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida the wager. Terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. All right, Damien, let's jump around here. Let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
The Florida Gators are NCAA champs after Houston blew a double-digit lead in the second half. How big of a collapse was this for Houston?
I mean, they led the entire game outside of 39 minutes, essentially. I mean, it was a collapse. They clammed up at the end. But the bottom line is that team was never going to win a game via offensive heroics. And now it's a little hypocritical because they did it in a way against Duke, but it was really timely stops and forcing Duke to one field goal in the last 10 minutes that really got them back into that game. But the offensive heroics going drive for drive with a team like Florida was never going to be the winning formula. They kind of got away from what was working in the first half, and that's why they ended up falling in the second half.
It's bad. It's another one of those chapters in Sampson's career where he just can't get it done, specifically on the college side. NBA, I don't think he really ever had a chance, but certainly on the college side, it's another game for Sampson where he looks back, it just, smacks himself in the foot. It was their style of game. Slow, gritty. Both teams shot under 40%. Usually that would favor a Sampson team. And then I go back to the Florida team and just their sheer experience in the tournament with the three guards. I think it was a collapse. To answer the question, yes, it was a bad collapse. You got to find a way to win up 12, 14 points in the second half. But to Colin's point, that wasn't the theme of this tournament. How many times did we see 10-point, 12-point leads evaporate like it was nothing in the second half? So it was a collapse in the sense of, and I know Sampson's a cheater. A lot of people don't necessarily like him, but I fell for him last night. I did. I fell for Sampson, and I thought that was a game that Houston should have won.
Number 2.
The NCAA tournament has come to a conclusion. What will you remember this tournament for?
I'll remember it for the teams that were the best, dominating, for a bit of comeback victory, and for Florida. That was the theme of the tournament ever since they came back against UConn. I feel like that was a team that was dancing with destiny the entire way. And it was a good final. It wasn't a great tournament. Not a lot of drama on the early part. But that was Florida's tournament. That was them. And it's a young head coach who was sort of in the first 3 years there, getting his guys in there. And it was the year of the transfer. That's what that was. That was the year of the transfer.
I'll remember it for the chalk and all the good teams being there. Colin was right that the Final Four was great. The Final Four and the final game, very entertaining games. It did well on the rating. Kyle, what'd you say the Final Four? 20 million in that Duke game?
Peaked at it, yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, 20 million people peaked. Or excuse me, the rating peaked at 20 million people. 20 million people were watching that game at one point. That's what you want. And I know a lot of people got on me for not necessarily liking Cinderella, but for how quote-unquote bad the tournament was leading up to the Final Four, I'd take that any day of the year. I'd take that Final Four and that championship game any day of the year and the dramatics that happened between the four best teams in the field.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Geno Smith came out today and said that him and Pete Carroll have unfinished business in Vegas. Are you guys buying low on the Raiders this year? Their over-under is 6.5, according to our friends at Hard Rock Bet.
I wouldn't take that over. I would say 6 makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I got to see how this draft goes. So let's see what type of moves they make if they swing for the fences in any regard. But that is going to be a very tricky division to navigate, a very tricky conference to navigate if you're thinking about the AFC. I have a hard time seeing them going 7-10, 8-9 with the teams that they're going to have to deal with in the AFC.
Specifically their division, too. No, I am not buying low on the Raiders. I know people that are, though. The Tom Brady effect, the Pete Carroll effect. They have a quarterback. Geno Smith's going to throw for 4,000 yards, win 8, 9, 10 games, and be in the playoff race. I understand that for the last 2-3 years, that's kind of been the case, right? But this division is just too tough. If they played in, another division in the AFC that's not the AFC West with the Chiefs. I mean, we go through the head coaches all the time. The Andy Reids, the Harbaughs, the Sean Paytons, and now the Pete Carroll. It's too tough a division for me to buy low on.
Number 4.
Shohei Ohtani was a double shy of the cycle last night in a rare loss to the last place Washington Nationals. Are you guys still bullish on the Dodgers to break the regular season win total?
I think you were the only one on this. You saw them go 8-0.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm buying low with the Dodgers losing to the lowly Washington Nationals. But how about Shohei last night? I was watching that game live. What a player. I don't think he gets the flowers he deserves.
What?
I don't think Ohtani gets, just because of how everyone, it's baseball, it's boring. In that sense,
that's not the case. That is the most.
He might be.
He does not get his flowers.
He doesn't get enough. He
about?
Doesn't get enough flowers for.
We had a 3 batters away signal.
Doesn't get enough of his flowers.
Animation during the World Series.
Nope.
Shohei Ohtani is 3 batters away.
Nope.
You don't think he gets his flowers?
He doesn't. He doesn't get enough flowers for being the best athlete on the planet.
A few days ago, I saw somebody say that Shohei Ohtani was the most known athlete worldwide,
which is not the case.
Which is absurd.
It's not, sadly, but it
might be the most well-known in Asia.
Correct. But
Japan for sure.
Damian, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, in my opinion, still worlds above anything when it comes to the world. But I truly appreciate what Shohei is, and he hasn't even pitched yet either. Like, that's the crazy part. The guy hasn't pitched in like 2 years, and once he does pitch again, he's probably going to have a sub-3 ERA.
His flowers. What are you talking about?
Not getting his flowers. He's not getting enough of his flowers.
The $700 million contract wasn't him getting his flowers?
Not necessarily on the money sense, Colin, but I understand the point. I think that
he's the most famous athlete in the most famous team
when it comes
in the biggest market.
When it comes to American sports, I think guys like Patrick Mahomes, even still guys like Steph Curry and LeBron James still get more flowers than Shohei Ohtani.
Because they're more popular sports. That's why. Comparatively to
I don't
other
think it's
MLB
fair.
players, there's no other MLB player.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think it's fair.
Fair? How? There's no other MLB player that gets more flowers than he does. That gets more publicity than he does.
He should be on the level of those guys in the other sports.
Well, he doesn't speak
English. I could argue he's
He
better.
doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak English to the fans. What do you want him to do? Mike, he has a translator.
I am buying bullish on them breaking the record. Shohei Ohtani, I think, is the greatest athlete that is playing sports in the United States right now. And the Dodgers, I still can't believe what the team that they were able to construct. It's insane. But yes, I am buying the Dodgers to break that win total.
You're taking Shohei Ohtani's career right now over Patrick Mahomes' career?
In a sense of championships, no. I mean...
what about in the sense of statistics?
I think so, Kyle. I think so, man.
I don't think I'm there. And it's hard to compare football to baseball. Ohtani's one of the great talents we've ever seen. So is Mahomes.
But
so is LeBron.
Patty, and I love Patty. Patty is the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback right now. He's arguably, a couple more championships. I know the one against the Eagles didn't help. Is probably going to be one of the best quarterbacks ever, up there with Tom Brady. But the fact that Ohtani is so good at hitting, I mean, he had 52 home runs and 50 steals last year, and he didn't pitch. And he could have a 3 ERA and strike out 200 guys. That's why I think, to answer that question, Colin, yes, I think that's why. Specifically what I said there, being able to pitch, being able to do. He does everything, and he can play the field, too. They just don't let him. He can play left field or first base, probably be a damn Gold Glove at it. They just don't want him to get hurt, and I don't blame him.
So, since 2020-23, fans have purchased Ohtani's jersey more than any other U.S., Japan player in baseball worldwide. He makes $700 million.
Baseball, though.
So this is a baseball problem, not a Shohei Ohtani problem.
He doesn't get his flowers from
who?
From the country that he's working in. From the country that he is working in.
What about 15 million people watching? What do you want him to get? What are you expecting from him? You expect us to talk every time he moves? We talk about him. I don't understand this.
We do.
Everybody does.
We do.
It's Shohei Ohtani. What are you talking about? He's like royalty. He's like the Queen of England in Japan.
As he should be. Did you see his new celebration when he's at college? He goes across his eyes, and apparently the Dodger teammates are making fun of him because he's doing all these ads in Japan. He is a walking billboard in Japan, and the team's catching on to him. They're making jokes
about it. This guy's a huge star
in Japan. In Japan.
In the United States.
Not in the
Mike,
United
he doesn't
States.
Speak English. Mike, he can speak English. He doesn't to the media. He doesn't.
A lot of guys don't. Lionel Messi doesn't either.
Okay, and is LeBron more famous in the United States than he is comparatively to Leo Messi? The answer is yes.
But at the same time,
point of that
baseball
language.
Baseball is quote unquote America's pastime. We need to get Ohtani the same level of recognition as Bron and Curry and
well, you
and
work
the
on
others.
that, all right? You work on that. Number 5.
Number 5.
With the national champion crowning a victor last night, out of all the teams you guys support, which team do you wish could win their respective title?
So, Kyle, you're an A's fan, you're a Jags fan, you're a UConn Husky fan. Who am I missing? Hornets. Which one of those teams
is closest?
Or not closest? Who would you like to see win? Out of all those teams, which team do you want to see?
Jacksonville, not even a question. Not
the
even
Jags?
a question. Not even a question. Jacksonville. Not even a question. First one, franchise history. Absolutely. No, not a question. That would be a Super Bowl for me. What about you?
It's going to surprise you, and it is the Guardians.
That doesn't surprise me.
Just because of how close they've been. 16, they should have won. 97, I was 3, should have won. But a lot of people probably would have thought the Browns.
Well, because they're very close. The Guardians have been right there.
Correct. And in my lifetime,
3-1.
they've been more relevant, and they're always in the playoffs. They just can't get it done. So I'd go with the Guards in that sense over the mighty NFL and my beloved Cleveland Browns. Damien, how about you? Is it Florida fan? I think a Marlin fan. Give me your fandoms. I know you're
Miami
soccer
Heat
fandoms.
fan, Dolphins fan.
Dolphins would be a big one.
Gators.
Really would be.
Hockey, I'm actually a Devils fan.
Okay.
And if I had to name one out of the bunch, well, actually,
you could throw the soccer in there.
I saw the Heat win, so it wouldn't be the Heat, but I got to go with soccer. Inter Miami, being a part of it so close,
right?
And what they're building in the last 2 years, I just want it to see end in the championship. So I would go with Inter Miami.
Damien, quickly, we're in a bit of a rut right now, partner.
But at least we're still. I mean, I still see Inter Miami.
We got everything in front of us
Yeah.
still. But the problem is, I'm worried about that CONCACAF matchup against LAFC
Wednesday,
at Chase Stadium.
So you're going all, Inter Miami over the Dolphins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. You know what's funny? Mike Malone being fired from that Nuggets job. We could go down the list of playoff teams that are going to be calling him before the end of the playoff run.
Oh yeah, Nick Nurse will be the coach in Denver next year. One of those guys.
I don't know
that
what
play
their
musical
plan is.
chairs.
Who are you going to go get? You going to go get Daryl Morey?
Get Bonnie Williams.
Who are you going to go get to take over the reins to run that team? But the Knicks, the Spurs, should be a lot of teams in the mix for Mike. We thought Taylor Jenkins was going to get calls. Mike Malone's going to get calls. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking?
There goes C-Cat trying to figure out what Theo would be riled up by in a club. Let's get some guesses going.
Theo's a big fan of Sicko Mode. You're a big Travis Scott fan.
Yeah.
You're damn.
right? That's how they start the song?
No.
Oh.
But yes, I know what you went for. What is? Okay, no, absolutely not.
That's how it
All right.
starts, yes.
That's not sicko mode. I think that's Lil Uzi.
Yeah. Great radio.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2 here on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com. pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, proudly serving Palm Beach County since 1960. Visit CassidyAC.com to get started today because they keep it cool, homes cool and comfortable. It's starting to get humid, starting to get toasty here as April rolls along in South Florida. So Cassidy's local HVAC services, they keep you cool and comfortable throughout the summer. So it's coming up. So you might as well make sure that all your AC units are in set. Let Cassidy's highly trained technicians, they can troubleshoot, perform diagnostic tests on your system. They can do different brands, the whole thing. Cassidy is the place to go if you're looking to get things fixed, things fine-tuned. It's time to check now if you need your system checked or upgraded. They have special financing options. You could ask about the Cassidy Care Club maintenance program. Offers year-round peace of mind with actual protections against broken HVAC systems. They're part of our local community, too. So supporting a local brand because they support organizations like the YMCA, the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. That's John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez with you on ESPN 106.3. I'm thinking about this with Mike Malone being fired. Quinn Snyder out as the Jazz. It reminds me of the Quinn Snyder getting fired from the Utah Jazz after they won 50 games, lost in the first round at Dallas. But the one place I'm thinking of, if they have a bad postseason, bad start, the Knicks. The Knicks getting rid of Thibodeau. A lot of the times you get rid of the coach because you got your eyes on the next guy. If the Knicks go into the postseason and play Detroit, I don't know, eke out in 7, then lose easy to Boston that second round. I mean, we're talking about Tibbs getting to 5. Was Tibbs going to get to 5 years at that point?
They need to retool their roster if that happens. That roster is specifically for Tibbs, but I understand.
Is it?
I think so. With getting the Bridges kid and Brunson, I feel like those are kind of hard-nosed, bully ball kind of players that he plays.
Excluding is a hard-nosed coach as well.
I agree. Okay, I'll listen to that. Excluding Cat, Kyle, I feel like all those players are really the kind of player that Thibodeau really likes. Now, if we want to take it a step further, if it does come to fruition, Tibbs gets fired. Mike Malone goes to the Knicks. I mean, Cat, could he run something through Cat that was kind of Joker-esque? I think so. Now, it's not the Joker. I love Cat. I think he's a great player, but he's not the Joker. But that's intriguing. That's an intriguing thing to think about because I think Malone, his style of coaching would fit in with a lot of that roster, to your point.
And he wants availability, and he's got a bunch of guys who are available.
And also, I think Cat could be the Joker kind of player on the team.
I mean, he wants guys that are available. Jamal Murray just missed the last 5 games, and they lost 4 of them. So, shocker that no Jamal Murray, their second best player on the team. Michael Porter Jr. is never available.
Dating back to the draft and his time in Missouri.
Like, they've had injury issues. They've had guys' availability issues. You go to the Knicks, I think the Knicks would call him tomorrow if they have a bad postseason series. I'd call that now.
What does it take to get Tibbs fired? First round loss to Detroit?
I think an ugly losing 5 to Celtics, they might do it. I mean, it's cutthroat. They might fire Tibbs tomorrow at this case. But, I mean, I'm at a certain point. 50 and 28, they're nowhere near the caliber of Boston or Cleveland. They haven't beaten any of the good teams. And when they eventually run into, I guess, an eventual team that is going to capitalize on them being hurt and battered and beaten up like the Knicks always are under a Thibodeau team, Tibbs is where J.B. Bickerstaff was to the Cavaliers. Yep. He is a floor raiser. He is not a guy to burst through the ceiling. That's what Kenny Atkinson is for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks, I think, need to take a step forward in finding that. Now, whether you think Mike Malone is the ceiling buster, I would say he is. He's championship-winning head coach.
He already won one.
And he put together, consistently, a great roster on a bad team. Budenholzer got there. Giannis was involved. It was a little different. Nick Nurse took over after Casey. Kawhi Leonard got there. There was less of a roster construction that Malone did. Malone is a very impressive coach. I would say the Knicks would call him tomorrow if that job would open.
Let me ask you this. What's the last star player head coach relationship that's working out in the league right now? Like, which team has a star player? It's more than one for me. It's more than one player. And Kyle, my case is Boston. Was it Missoula?
Yes.
And winning helps.
Granted, they've had 3 coaches, and they've been successful under 3 coaches.
Fair enough. And Ime Udoka was, doing God only knows what and got fired. But, I think Missoula, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum, that's working there.
Yeah.
Look throughout the NBA right now. Where Steve Kerr, okay, I missed probably the biggest one. Fair play. Steve
Dagnall and the OKC Thunder.
Okay.
So
you think they got to do a little more winning though? Like
what are you asking right now? Are you asking whether winning teams have a good relationship with their head coach?
I guess it's that. I guess it's to the point of star great relationship with coach. And we could throw the Thunder in there. I think I need to see the Thunder go on a run in the playoffs though. Would you agree with me?
I mean, I get they won 64 games.
It's beyond impressive. I'm not, trust me, but I too many times as a Cav fan, I've seen the Cavs have an incredible regular season do absolutely nothing.
I agree.
In the playoffs.
If you're just talking about coaches that are in good standing with their players, it's a lot of the playoff teams. It's a lot of the Atkinson, good standing with the players. You got to assume. Right. If you asked me yesterday, I would have said Mike Malone. So clearly something didn't give. But with 3 games to go, and you're getting rid of him, you're killing your chances out of the title. And to say that they were out of it to begin with because they lost 4 straight without Jamal Murray to good teams, to say that they were out of it because of that when you have the best player in the sport at the most mismatched position in the sport,
right?
Very bizarre. The Knicks would call him tomorrow. I mean, Memphis should call him tomorrow. Sacramento should call him tomorrow. Phoenix will probably call him tomorrow. He'll never go there, but Phoenix will call him tomorrow. San Antonio would call him tomorrow. Barring Popovich, he's going to get 10 calls.
Yeah, as he should. He's
you get rid of a guy who's going to get 10 calls.
He's the number 1 commodity on the market when it comes to head coaches.
Are you going to get rid of a guy who's going to get 10 calls tomorrow? That's the problem.
And the championship pedigree, like that's the biggest thing. Then that's ultimately what these teams want to do. They want to win a championship. Look no further than a guy who brought Denver, a football town, a basketball championship. That's why Ty Lue, even when Ty Lue and then Cleveland, they parted ways, he was a hot commodity. championship coach, players coach. I don't know. Listen, I don't know if I could sit here and call Malone a players coach, a guy who just got fired, but you get the point that he is that ceiling raiser. He is the guy who is going to go out and win a championship. This isn't a case, to Colin's point, of J.B. Bickerstaff and some other guys who are there to figure the project out, then have to give the reins to someone else to win a championship. It seems like Malone can do it all. He's the whole package. He can rebuild it. He gave Joker the chance, was part of drafting Jamal Murray. Porter was great for a year before the injury started to come. The Braun kid from Kansas, it worked. Guys, this thing worked for a couple of years.
And it didn't work for 15 games, so we're getting rid of him. That's the problem.
No sense.
And the Knicks should get him tomorrow. Tomorrow. And I'm anti-Tibbs, openly, fair.
Colin already ran him out of town. What do you mean? Colin already ran Tibbs out of town.
I'm already anti-Tom Thibodeau. But they're at the point now where you got to look elsewhere to find that guy who could take the next step with you. And I don't think it's Thibodeau. I think Mike Malone could be that. I think that would be an elite job. Whether he wants to go to San Antonio and coach Wembanyama, a little Jokic, that makes a lot of sense for everybody involved. So I understand that. They have a lot of young talent. Castle, Fox, probably a good draft pick this year. Fine. But, if I'm sitting there and if you're going to fire a coach, if Spoelstra was fired tomorrow, he'd get 100 calls before the end of the day.
Yep.
He'd get 100 calls. That's why you don't fire some of these guys. Now, if the Nuggets, I said the same thing about the Grizzlies. If the Nuggets roll out there and they win in 4, and then they win in 6, and then all of a sudden they're in the conference final, we'll shut up. We'll shut up.
We will.
Maybe it was a Mike Malone problem. But until that point, this is as baffling of a move. This is the most baffling move I've seen since Luka Doncic trade.
Hang on. McNeese? Are they going to McNeese us?
What?
With Will Wade? Remember, we were bashing McNeese State. And then Will Wade went out and beat Clemson and shattered our brackets.
Oh, that was one game.
But you get what I'm saying. Still, we had to eat a big old crow for that.
I wouldn't compare it, but I understand.
And then I don't think they're going to go on a run either with Jamal Murray now ailing. One thing we learned, that team needs Murray to go on a run and needs Murray to play.
For the postseason. I have to double check. But
no one's ever healthy. I understand that with the amount of games you play, but
double check.
I understand the point. And with Denver, if they run into Golden State, that's a mismatch, mate. It's all going to come down to matchups, and to fire the coach with the amount of games you have left and how close everything is.
How does that locker room feel? If you're trying to put yourself in that locker room, unless he was the most hated guy in that locker room, they're in complete disarray.
Seeding, too. I want to play the seeding game again. I want to circle back around to that. Do you want a favorable seed in this? You don't want to play in the Mickey Mouse Magic Kingdom play-in tournament. That's the last thing you want. That's the last thing you want. And you're going to fire the coach. Look no further in Memphis. Colin's about to lose money, Damian.
2-2. I'm not dead yet. Then you go 2-2. Now, granted, they have Memphis and they have Sacramento. But Sacramento, another team who fired their coach against Memphis, too, who also fired their coach. So it's going to be like the island of misfit toys in those games.
Colin brought the bad mood, mojo, and the theme magic and mojo with the Clippers. Okay, and I lost that bet. He's going to lose that damn Memphis bet. It's going to be
They beat Charlotte tonight. I'm in good shape.
They got Charlotte.
They got Charlotte on the road.
They should
tonight,
win by 50,
and they still got the Mavericks, the Nuggets, and the Timberwolves.
Oh, I'm done. You're done. Yeah. You're winning that.
I don't know. We'll see.
You threw a temper tantrum, and that's the teams they play at the end of the year?
Well, they beat Detroit. That's why it was huge. They beat Detroit.
Come on, mate.
Those
are tough games, the last 3 games.
Hold on a second. They played Boston, the Thunder, and the Warriors back to back to back.
Give me the last games. Give me the last games again.
The Hornets,
Bums.
the T-Wolves, and the Nuggets. And then the Mavericks. All right.
The Mavericks and tonight.
Mavericks,
those are your 2 wins.
They're sitting 10th right now, so every
and
game
they're
is like a final.
The Mavericks, they'll get into the play-in tournament.
I'm not worried about them. But the Nuggets here, they got to stay out of that play-in. But if they go on a big some odd run, and it really was a Mike Malone problem, I cannot imagine that locker room is in any sort of good standing. What are you supposed to think? This guy's been here for 10 years. We've won a championship under this guy, and it's the same core underneath him. We haven't heard a peep about anybody not liking him. Jokic is pretty easy to deal with. This is the guy who really took a chance on Jokic and developed him. and we're going to get rid of him with 3 games to go. What does that say about ownership? Unless they have some sort of master plan that they could get to tomorrow, what does that say? What are you going to do there? Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Denver just buried their own grave.
They did.
And it stinks because I like Denver. Denver's fun to watch. I think you're wasting his prime. Jokic, that is.
Are they trying to, maybe they looked at that roster and said, all right, we're not going to come out of the West, which I don't know how you look at that roster and do that when you have Jokic on it, but maybe they made the ownership and company made the executive decision of let's get out in front of this now.
Get out in front of what?
Let's get out and listen.
It's not college. It's not college football with the transfer.
Colin, I agree with you, but I'm just trying to get down to the root of the problem and exactly what happened here. Maybe the players couldn't stand him. Maybe ownership goes, all right, let's get out in front of this now. We understand we're not going to win anything this year. Like, yeah, we might win a playoff series, but we know
as the 4th seed.
Maybe they said we're not going to win anything this year. Let's get out in front of it and let's restart now.
There is a statement
restart
from
what?
the president.
We're 79 games in. I'm trying to understand your point of view. I don't think that's what they're thinking here. I don't know. I don't even know what they're thinking. It must have been a Jokic thing.
I want to make one thing clear. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I'm trying to dissect it over here.
It must have been a Jokic thing. Because Jokic, they're not doing that without Jokic's approval. And unless they said Bob Myers is going to walk through the door and run the team for the next 10 years, that's one thing. But at a certain point, you got to understand timing. A shot in the arm, that's what ownership wants? A shot in the arm? Think you're going to go on a run for what? In spite of Mike Malone? In memoriam of Mike Malone? What type of run do they plan on going on? I don't know. Denver just buried their own grave. 4th seed in the Western Conference. Burying their own grave. Imagine that. Imagine that. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Perez with you on Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Listen back in podcast format, uploaded full in episodes there. We got to do a little streaking, I believe, next, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Stick around for it as we close out the program on a Tuesday edition of Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sportsbook. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida the wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you can drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Knox in the house, right? And I go by the name of Wyclef. I bought the band.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damian Perez with you. Live from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Now, if you're watching on the YouTube stream, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, Mike and I are both, buttoned up, blazers. This is a rarity for the most part. But we had a little event this morning with our friends over at the BDB, the Business Development Board, in West Palm Beach.
Hats. I got a hard hat.
The Kravis Center. We were there. We're in the community, understanding what's going to happen in the future of West Palm Beach. I got my dress shoes on, which I never wear, dusted up in the closet. And I'm wearing I have a blazer, I have a button up, and here we go, good to go, all right? So I spent my whole lunch hour defending myself adamantly that my socks were apparently ill-fit.
They are.
Dress shoes.
They are.
Now, to draw a picture here, I'm wearing white ankle socks, if you will, that go just above my ankle bone. That's it. And one socks. You could get them for a 15-pack for like $20 at a Walmart. I don't have dress socks.
What do you mean you don't have dress socks?
Who has dress socks?
Me.
It's a waste. I'm serious here. Like, I've never really had dress socks. I don't think it's an important fixture of an outfit. I had people laughing like they'd never seen it before.
No, Kyle, that is
like it was a clown in a shopping mall.
Kyle, unheard of.
I disagree.
Unheard of. What you have on right now, we call them Keds. They're ankle socks with a dress. So, Kyle, you look great. The kid looks great. He's got his blue blazer. He's got his blue suede shirt. Hang on, I'm not done.
Socks don't matter.
He's got his nice black dress belt. He's got some nice, dress grayish pants, great shoes. And then you look down, he's wearing white ankle sock Keds. Kyle, the dog, your dad has dress socks. He wears dress socks on first take. Take some when you go home, grab 2 pairs of the dog socks and bring them down.
Point being, I just didn't have any. The fact that this was such a disservice to dress it up in a blazer.
Yeah, it's not a good look. I can't
dumbest
lie.
thing in the world. Not a good look.
It's not a good look to have
Who's
ankle
looking
socks?
at the socks?
Dude, Kyle, it's.
Who's looking at the socks?
I'm not
If
one.
the construction guy is looking at the socks of me, you got another thing to worry about.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm not one for fashion, okay? But
Neither
I do know how to dress up in a suit and look nice. I know how to do all that.
The best part is the pant legs are covering it.
No, they're not until you sit down and you see your ridiculous white ankle socks.
I'll follow
it.
this.
Is not.
I'll follow it up with if I'm sitting down and I got people staring at my socks, guys.
Damien, how many?
Guys.
Let me ask you a question, Damien. So you have to have black, and if you're watching the YouTube stream, Colin, we can't see it, but you can't lift your leg that high. There it is. There we go. Damien, if you have high black Nike socks, like dry fits, right?
Dry fit is
you can get away with
Nike
that.
socks are not dress socks.
I was about to say.
You can't lecture me on dress socks. Talk about how your Nike
I think that would be worse.
socks.
I think that would be worse.
Not at all.
The Nike socks.
You can get away with it.
I can't sit here and listen to your basketball socks being an adequate substitute comparatively to mine.
You could get away with it, is what I'm trying to say, mate. If you just wore high socks, all right, and like someone's looking, he's got high socks. You look at you and you see ankle socks with white Keds on. They go, all right, what the hell is that kid doing?
Well, hold on a second. How are you Mr. Dress Socks at the beginning of this conversation, but now we're turning back and you got the Nike socks? You got basketball socks just because it blends in?
I couldn't find my friggin' dress socks. I have
Do you
4
even have
pairs.
any? Do you even have?
I have 4 pairs,
You have
and I
4
couldn't
pairs.
find
You do
them.
laundry every day. You couldn't
And
find 4 pairs of socks.
I don't. I
started to believe these don't exist.
I couldn't find them, honestly.
It's like the towels.
Don't know what so I did some spring cleaning, and I like rearranged things, and
You rearranged your socks?
Yeah, I rearranged everything in my closet and I was in a rush. I woke up at 7:30. I woke up late. I had to be here at 9:15. I thought I was going to have a chance to work out. I didn't get a chance. There were a lot of things going on this morning, and I couldn't find my socks, all right? So I just threw on the black Nike socks. Now, to open up the curtain, I have my white dress shirt, my blue blazer, khaki brownish pants, and my black shoes, and my black dress shoes. And I could clearly get away with black socks, black dress shoes, black belt, and pants.
It's the most overrated part of dressing up nice as a male.
But how high black socks? But like what I'm saying is, everybody has a pair of dry fit high black Nike socks that you can get away for a day.
Damon, you have a pair of the plain black dry fit high Nike socks.
I do. I'm
You
guilty
do.
of this. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean you do? You have 15.
Acting like everybody has one of those. Dress socks I'd listen to. Not
Dude,
the
no.
Nike
Everyone has the high Nike socks.
Nobody. What are you?
Everybody.
This is not 2013. All right.
Everybody.
Those did peak in 2013, especially the ones with the line on the ankle.
Right.
Those I think were the Elite Series.
Yeah. I'm going to wear them to the gym tonight. But everyone has a pair of those. You could have just worn
I got
that.
two. I don't have those. So I don't. You're acting like I have these socks.
You don't have a pair of black socks.
I have white Hanes socks that I got from Walmart for the $12 for $15 or whatever it was, and I got the N1 socks, which are the same exact height that I wear as well. I got like 25 pairs of socks, and they're Hanes, and they're N1, and that's it. That's
All white.
Yes, because I'm an adult, and that's what they wear. White socks. Nothing wrong with that. Yes.
I disagree. You're an adult. You only have white socks, mate. That's
because who cares? It's not a big deal. That's my
it's a big deal with a suit, brother. You can't wear ankle socks. You can't have a dark outfit on and white ankle socks.
You can't see it.
Yes, you can.
You didn't see it until I showed you.
You sat down.
A bunch of nonsense. You didn't see it.
Kid sat down.
Bunch of nonsense.
I didn't say anything.
No, you didn't. Oh,
I didn't say anything.
Oh my God, what a load of crap.
No, I didn't say anything.
You didn't notice.
I love you, kid.
You didn't notice like everybody else. Nobody noticed until I pointed it out because it's funny. You laugh at it. Who cares?
No.
Look at these socks. All right. Looks a little funky. I had somebody say it looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. A little feminine. We could listen to that. Fine.
You should have just went with no socks, honestly.
And blister up?
The no socks look would have been better than the white Keds.
No. You can't go no
socks. Oh, trust me. You're
Especially
telling me. I think it's insane.
And blister up? No
it's
way.
insanity. I wear socks and sandals, for God's sakes. But listen, you're better off going with that look than the white Keds.
You didn't notice.
I did notice when you sat down.
No, you didn't.
Colin,
Let's
Colin,
save us the suspense.
Colin, before
you didn't notice like everybody else there.
I didn't notice. You're right. I didn't notice at the BDB, but I didn't sit next to you. I noticed when we got back here and you sat down and out in the hall, and that's when I noticed. I said, "Oh God, Kyle's got the white Keds on," and I didn't think twice about it. And I went back in there.
Exactly.
But I'm not gonna.
Damien, exactly.
I'm not gonna.
I didn't think twice about it because it doesn't matter.
It's on but Kyle,
I rest my case.
I'm not gonna freak out about it like everyone else would back there. Colin, I walk into this station and everyone's a runway fashion model apparently. I'm being judged head to toe with everything I wear. One day I had someone go up to me and go, "You're wearing a brown belt. It should be black." Oh my God. All right.
Fashion police.
Oh my God.
I have one belt.
It is the fashion police.
I have one belt and it's black.
I have one belt just to one up you. It's black and it's reversible.
Adjustable. Yeah,
yes.
dude, mine is too.
Mine broke like that.
So
I had
mine is
two,
too,
and now
but
it's one.
Damien, I've worn the black side so much to where it's kind of getting worn out a bit.
Yeah.
It's going to made them almost
Hold on.
to the
So
point.
now all of a sudden we're Mr. One Belt, but we're not Mr. One Sock? Where's the fairness in that?
Dude, the fact that you don't have a pair of high black socks
I don't
is
have
insanity.
one. And the fact
That's
that
insanity.
you know what? Because I wear my dress shoes once every 6 months, I'm not buying them. I'm not doing it.
And the fact that I'm a psychopath and peaked in 2013 because I have a pair of Nike Elite socks is crazy. The dry fits.
I don't need it. For once every 7 months, I wear my dress shoes. I'm not doing it. I got my white socks, and you're going to have to deal with it. Somebody wants to say something about it? Well, will you be able to sleep tonight? And once I get a yes, all right. Go ahead, great. That's I call it a little defensive. Fine. I was getting ripped, and you can laugh about it because who cares?
All right, so for Christmas, we're going through Christmas lists. Sorry, and I can't stand Christmas, as you guys know. Colin needs black dress socks. How's the apartment looking?
It's fine.
We upgraded? What do we got? You had some company down here about a month ago.
Oh, yeah, I have a couch now, so we're good.
Couch?
We're good.
Table?
No.
Entertainment stand?
Yeah, I had one from the beginning.
Okay, but you don't have a table, Colin. You're still eating on the
couch table. What is it called? TV table? Yeah, that.
Paper plates?
I have two plates.
Okay.
3 plates. 2 plates.
Wow.
Mike with his clothes. I am with my dishes. You do your dishes when you're done with them. So you.
So I'm gonna get grilled.
What? I need 5 plates. Who are you feeding? I don't need 5 plates. What are you talking about?
You don't have china? You don't have how many forks?
Like 4?
Okay.
Maybe 3? I have like 3 or 4 spoons.
We need a extreme. You guys
can't-
remember? You remember the show Extreme Home Makeover? We need to do that to
We
Russo's
don't.
apartment.
It's completely fine. I've lived there for 9 months. I haven't even noticed anything.
I feel like those forks were also from The Office because it's hard to get
correct.
like a set of 1 or 2 forks.
Exactly.
It's usually like 10 or 20.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not looking in the right places. You're not looking in the right. You could totally do it. I don't remember how I did it, but I think it was something like that. It might have been a pack, which is why I maybe have 4 and 4 or 4. But I got 2 plates. I got 1 bowl, which is a little annoying, I'll admit. But I got 1 bowl.
My God.
I got 2 skillets, 1 small for breakfast, 1 big for dinner. I got a panini press. I got an air fryer, which I don't use as much as I'd like
It's
to.
a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt to clean.
You can
The
do
air fryer
anything
is
with
such
an air
a-
fryer.
Yeah, I know.
It's
but
such a pain to clean.
What I use, I don't use it as much as I probably should. I use it for like fries and like
It does
sweet
take discipline,
potatoes
though.
and stuff like that. Discipline.
It's a
Yeah,
pain
if you don't clean it,
Yeah,
it
it's a
kind of
pain.
gets all like
Yeah,
gunky.
You could use the
The liners.
Yeah, use liners and you're fine. But I got that. That's it. That's all I need. I got 1 little pan that I could use for rice and stuff like that. That is it. That is all I got. And I got 1 TV table. I got a little coffee table that is broken, and I got that lawn chair and the couch. That's it. Fine. We're good.
Where'd your buddy sleep?
On the couch.
And on the floor?
I have an air mattress. I bought an air mattress.
So you have the thing that that Jess, who works here, that Jess gave you. You have the couch thing that Jess gave you.
She didn't give me a couch.
She gave you a table.
She gave me a table.
Colin, that couch is not big enough for someone to sleep on. If I'm thinking
What couch
of
are
the
you
right
talking
thing.
about? I have a 3-person recliner couch. It's fine. Totally good for one. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, totally good for one
No.
person with both
No.
ends recline. It's great. I got a good deal on it. It was great. Spent a lot of money, and I'm never. You know what? That's gonna be my couch forever. Fine.
Forever.
But I don't need anything else. I don't have a dresser. I don't have a desk. I don't need it. I don't need it.
So is your clothes like still in the suitcase or?
I used to be one of those guys. No, I have. So my closet has like you could step into it a little bit, and they have like
Shelves.
the normal shelves, and I stack it on that, and they have and I hang them, and then I have one of those, I guess the hanging, what is it? The dresser thing where you put your socks. I got those. I got one of those with like 3 little boxes. That's it. That is all I got, and it is completely fine,
man.
And it's completely fine.
You're living like Kyle. You're living like
Spend
a
money
gypsy.
for what reason?
Gypsy.
For what reason? What do I need?
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is fine.
No,
I don't know what
it's
else I
not.
need. What else do I need, Mike?
Don't ask you. You yelled at me because my apartment has everything, and I got yelled at
It's an
because
arcade. I don't know. Don't need all this.
you yelled at me because I got yelled at because I do too much laundry. I have too many places to sit.
Too many
I
places.
have too many TVs. I got too many dressers. I got yelled at because I'm living like a normal human being and not like a man. What frat were you in? What was your letters?
In college?
Yeah, what were your letters? Pike? Colin's living at Pike still, okay?
It doesn't
He's living
matter.
at the Pike house.
It's not like I don't need to spend money on random things that I'm not going to use. I use the TV to watch sports. I use the bed to sleep. I use the kitchen stuff to eat. We're good.
The foundation is set.
You're not a gamer. You're not a gamer, so you don't need...
Set. I got a little room with a bike in it. That's it. And I got a bike trainer that I can set my bike up to when I bike indoors. And that is it. That's all I got. I got a helmet right there. I got a little corner where I got the air mattresses in their boxes. And that is it. It's funny, too, because my apartment, only one plug or outlet works in my bedroom.
Oh,
there's like
God.
6 of them.
Call your...
So I haven't gotten it fixed yet.
Call
It's
your
been 9 months,
electrician.
and it hasn't worked for 9
What
months.
are you doing?
And so what I have is an extension cord going across
With
the
multiple
it's
outlets.
it's on the opposite
Oh
wall of the
my
bed,
God,
and it goes
dude,
across.
stop.
So you got to step over it.
Oh
You got to. It's probably a good
but
foot off the ground.
We got to give Colin credit here. He solves issues.
Solves
it might not be
No,
the
he
best
doesn't.
solution, but
Damien's onto something.
Dude, no, you're not.
Damien's on his.
Dude,
maybe not solves issues because that wasn't an issue. I
Colin
haven't solved it.
doesn't want to get it fixed because the guy that's going to walk in there and fix it goes, my God, this is how this kid is living?
No. I texted the guy once like 6 months ago. He said he was going to come do it, and we just both forgot about it. And it's funny, too, because the shower handle, too, this is another one. The shower handle.
What is that
It
shower
only
look
turns
like?
on The shower looks fine.
What does that bathroom look
It
like?
looks completely fine.
Oh, God.
I'm cleanly. I just don't have anything of use. So,
do you clean?
Yes. I have a shower handle, and if you're looking at it like a clock, at 8:30 is the only place it turns off. Everything else, it's on. And you gotta.
What's the explanation behind that?
I just know it's 8:30.
Colin, you pay too much money.
Imagine it's 8:30, and it's a little past 8. If the hour hand on the clock, that's where you get it off.
You pay too much money to not get that stuff fixed. That's bush league.
I don't pay that much money for my apartment, and 8 o'clock, a little past it, turned off. Everything else, it's on. Everything else, haven't gotten that fixed yet. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez, Russo and Rizzo will be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay focused. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your